take it down again, and they'll bring it to the goal post. 24 will shoot a pass. It will pass 24. 24 will deke out. Dan Sutton score another goal for Belmont.
All right, Melrose really needs to get their game together. Here it's halftime. Hopefully the coach has some inspiring words to get his team back in the game.
Melrose looks ready in the second half.
This time Jason Campbell goes up the middle, throws some nice fancy moves in there, and he passes it up the field, hits it right off the goal post, and a nice bid for Melrose.
Jason Campbell will take it and fire from the top of the court, the field, and shoot, and he'll score. Great goal by Jason Campbell.
At this point, Austin Guerin has also had 2 goals, so Melrose is trying to get back in this game. Guerin once again has the ball, and he's trying to run the ball upfield, get it to his teammates, passes it off, and he goes in, Parika goes in, and he scores another Melrose goal.
Good goal for Melrose. Getting back into this game now.
Yeah, it's looking good for them.
Now Max Leeson will take it down the field, blow by some Belmont players, and dish it off to get Austin Guerin, who will take it. He'll run with it across a field and shoot, score. Nice goal by Austin Guerin. It's a hat trick right there.
Yeah, he's an impressive player.
Should be one of the senior captains. Should have a lot of leadership.
Definitely. Jason Campbell passes it around the perimeter on this play. Melrose is trying to once again catch up to Belmont, who has the lead by a lot in this game. Passes it around the perimeter, trying to get something going. They shoot and they score.
I'd be afraid to get in front of that if I was the goalie.
Oh, definitely. I would too.
And there's the players shaking hands at the end of the game. It's a great game. Hopefully Melrose can pick it up the next few matches.
Connor on suspension.
And now we'll send it back to the judges.
All right, guys, kind of a new look for the finale. You guys are up when we shoot the regular shows. We're still down here in the dungeon. The way this round is going to work is, like we've already introduced, that you're going to be doing the entire show, but after each segment, we are going to stop you and tell you what we thought. Jack, start this one off for us.
All right, guys. I thought you did both a pretty good job. Not what I expected. I expected a little bit better, but otherwise, John and Athena, you guys both had a little bit of mix-ups on the desks. But John, you didn't really transition to the next topics at all, and the highlight actually it wasn't that bad. But Athena, you kind of got confused with 2 of the players on the team. You called number 9 Austin Guerin, and that was actually number 2. But other than that, I thought it was a good job. So I'll send it over to Jenny to tell you her feedback.
Okay, I thought you guys did pretty well too. There's definitely room for improvement though. You did slip up in a few areas on the desk, and you have to just be able to fill that with information. And if you don't want to look down, then you just have to be able to say something off the top of your head, just so that it sounds more even flow. For the Gately highlight, I think you guys did pretty well, especially since there was 2 people. I think you did well evening it out. But you do need to make it a little more steady and even, I'd say.
Yeah, I thought it was all right. I wasn't really impressed with it that much, but on the desk, you could have used more transitions, and you also left out some names. You could have used a little more names on the desk. And on the Gately highlight, I mean, Jonny, you had a slip up, but I don't know. It was all right for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was okay. That's really it. It was just okay. Both of you should avoid specific dates. I know Jenny told you guys last round that these shows air for 2 weeks, so you really got to avoid specific dates like that. And I mean, I would just say more of what they said, but this is the finale. You guys are the final 2. The best of the best. This is what we got, and you really got to step it up in these next couple segments and prove to us which one of you should be the winner.
All right, we're here in the Marty Sports Den, which is a familiar setting on MR3. And after a tough round of judging in the last challenge, you guys think you guys can bounce back and talk about March Madness?
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Okay, so John, who do you think was the biggest surprise of the tournament this year?
Well, the biggest surprise, I think, was Michigan State. Going into the tournament, they were ranked a 2 seed, but still they had a hard road to go. They beat a good Kansas team in the Sweet 16, and I don't think anyone saw them beating Louisville in the Elite 8. and they actually beat them by a good amount, and that was a huge upset. No one saw that coming. And then even in the Final Four, they beat UConn, which not very people thought they could, but I thought it was a huge upset. I don't think everyone knew they were good, but I don't think anyone knew they were that good to beat Louisville, Kansas, and UConn and get to the championship game. But the magic wore out in the championship game. They lost to UNC, but so it was a major surprise. I don't think anyone really saw that. I don't think many people had them in their Final Four, but I think it was a major surprise, even though they're ranked a 2 seed.
Athena, what did you think?
All right, well, I went with an underdog team, and I picked 12-seeded Arizona. Everyone counted them out from the beginning because of their low ranking, but the coaching staff as well as the players pulled it all together, and they encouraged to push the ball up court and good defense, and that's what kept them to go into the Sweet 16. And it was a real shocker, really. Although they didn't win it all or go that much farther into the tournament, they did make it pretty far for a 12 seed, beat a lot of talented teams, and they didn't have any fan support, really, because they were never seriously considered as a threat in the March Madness this year.
Now, on the other end of the spectrum, you guys told us about the upsets. Who do you think was the biggest disappointment, Athena?
All right, well, Wake Forest was a 4 seed this year, and they lost to Cleveland State, who is a 12 seed, and that is a huge surprise. Wake Forest has never gotten out of the first round since 2005 because they have a very talented group of basketball players. It was kind of a blowout, too, when you compare the rankings. Wake Forest lost by a good 15 points, and it was a real shocker to everyone. A lot of people had Wake Forest in their bracket as winning and going a lot farther than that. So, no one, again, considered Cleveland State to even beat them. So, to me, that was a really big surprise.
My disappointment, I'm going to have to go with Pittsburgh. Even though they're number 1 seed, they played pretty bad the whole tournament, nothing like they played in the regular season. They only beat Eastern Tennessee State by 10, and they barely sneaked by Oklahoma State. And once again, they barely sneaked by Xavier. Xavier's a pretty good team, but I think everyone knew they should have won, and they did win. But going into the Elite Eight, they lost to Villanova, which, it was a surprise. It was a great game. Went to the last second. It was a heartbreaker, but I think everyone knew that Pittsburgh should have came out of the bracket. They had the easiest bracket to come out of. I think everyone had them in the Final Four, and they played bad the whole tournament. DeJuan Blair didn't put up the numbers that good. He was their main man during the regular season. I don't think he came through that well in the tournament, and this fell short. 1 second, one basket short, but still it was a disappointment. I picked them to go pretty far, and it was just a disappointment. I think a lot of people were disappointed in their play in the Elite Eight and the whole tournament in general.
Now, we know that you guys picked your upsets and your disappointments, but at the beginning, before you've watched all these games, who'd you guys have in the top at the brackets?
Well, when I'm going back to my disappointment, I picked Pitt to win. I picked in the regular season. They have a great guard in Levance Field, great shooting forward in Sam Young, great center. I think the best center who was in the regular season the whole year, best center, DeJuan Blair. I think they had a complete team. They played good. They're in the best conference in basketball in the Big East. And they got number 1 seed. I picked them. They had the easiest bracket. I picked them to beat Louisville, which Louisville didn't even make it in. But I had them winning because great guard play, Levance Field, and best center, big man in the NCAA this year with Blair. And they're just an all-around good team. They're very balanced, and I thought they had what it took.
Athena, what do you think?
All right, well, I actually got lucky this year, and I picked UNC from the beginning, and as we all know, they ended up winning it all. Being a 1 seed, it's kind of like a good backup because it's a comforting thing to know that they came out of the regular season being the number 1 ranking. They also had superstars Ty Lawson and Tyler Hansborough, who basically led their team to victory this year. Ty Lawson being a guard and Hansborough being a big guy down low, they knew how to distribute the ball and to get the whole team involved. Although their defense was a little shaky, their offense did make up for it, and their defense picked up a lot towards the later rounds in the playoffs. And that's definitely what got them to be the champions, their defense. Defense always wins games, and it's a good thing that the coach saw that early enough so it wouldn't really affect them. So good job to them.
Okay, now you guys watched all the games. There's a ton of rising stars. Who would you consider to be the MVP of the tournament, though?
My MVP of the tournament, I'd have to say Ty Lawson. He was in the tournament. He was the offensive leader of that team. He's averaged 15 points per game.